He didn't get bit by a spider. He didn't fall into a glowing vat. He didn't inherit a kingdom or stumble into $1 billion. Dr. Elias Eli Wirtham became cardiac because a pharmaceutical company decided his brother's life wasn't worth releasing a cure yet. That's it. That's the origin. And if that sentence doesn't already tell you this is the most relevant Marvel character alive, you haven't been paying attention to the world. Eli Wirtham starts as the cleanest kind of hero, a healer. His older brother Joshua dies from a rare disease, and Eli responds the way we tell good people to respond, by dedicating his life to medicine. He becomes a surgeon, a researcher, a biotech genius. He believes sincerely that science exists to save lives. That effort plus intellect plus morality equals justice. And then reality kicks the door in. Eli discovers that a company had already developed a cure for Joshua's disease while his brother was still alive. Not almost developed, not theorized, finished, tested, real. And they kept it off the market because it wasn't financially viable yet. Translation, people were dying, but the numbers weren't right. That moment is where cardiac is born, long before the suit. Because Eli doesn't just grieve, he understands. He understands that the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. The law didn't stop the company. Regulators didn't intervene. No one went to jail. The paperwork was clean and his brother was dead. That's when Eli realizes something terrifying. Murder doesn't always need a weapon. Sometimes it just needs a delay. So Eli does the most American thing possible. He plays the game. He builds wealth. He builds power. He becomes a medical and biotech titan. He buys the company. He gets access to the files. And what he finds confirms the nightmare. His brother's life was collateral damage in a profit strategy. And that's the pivot. Because at that moment, Eli stops believing that reform will fix this. He stops believing that exposure alone will save people. He decides the only thing that scares untouchable systems is consequence. This is what separates Cardiac from almost every Marvel hero. He doesn't accidentally become powerful. He chooses to cross a line. He surgically replaces his own heart with a compact beta particle reactor. Let that sit for a second. This man looks at the thing that keeps him alive and says, if the world is powered by greed, I'll power myself by rage and purpose instead. His heartbeat becomes an engine. He integrates a vibranium mesh into his body, turning himself into a living circuit, silent, durable, efficient. He becomes cardiac, not as a symbol, but as a thesis statement. The heart matters, life matters. And profit will not be the deciding factor anymore. As cardiac, Eli doesn't fight street crime. He fights structural crime. He goes after pharmaceutical companies, chemical manufacturers, corrupt financiers, and corporations whose harm is technically legal and morally catastrophic. He doesn't wait for indictments that never come. He doesn't give speeches. He destroys supply chains. He exposes secrets. He dismantles operations. And yes, sometimes he kills, because the line he draws is not have you broken the law, but have you knowingly killed people and hidden behind legality. That's why he scares everyone, heroes included. Spider-Man keeps running into Cardiac because Spider-Man still believes the system can be nudged. Cardiac believes the system has to be confronted. And here's the uncomfortable part. Cardiac respects Spider-Man. He sees him as a true hero. He tries repeatedly to recruit him, not because he wants approval, but because he knows Spider-Man understands responsibility. And every time Spider-Man refuses, that tension becomes the story, because Spider-Man stops muggers, Cardiac stops boardrooms, and both of them know which one actually moves the body count. And let's talk about how absolutely wild it is that Marvel hasn't centered this man in the MCU yet. Because Cardiac doesn't just break things, he builds. He opens the HERT clinic, a hospital dedicated to people society throws away. He steals advanced tech not to flex, not to dominate, but to heal patients with brain damage, amputations, chronic illness. He runs surgeries, he saves lives. He literally embodies the contradiction of modern America. Miracles exist, but access is restricted. There's an entire storyline where Cardiac clashes with the superior Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus, and Peter Parker's body over a stolen medical device. And when Otto finally learns why Cardiac took it, when he understands that his past actions indirectly caused the patient suffering, Otto feels remorse and helps perform the surgery. That scene alone is a movie. That's not punching. That's accountability. That's ethics colliding with ego. And here's the part. Marvel should not ignore Cardiac is not a power fantasy. He's a pressure fantasy. He represents what happens when someone refuses to accept that this is just how it works. He forces every other hero to answer a question they'd rather avoid. Why are we so comfortable stopping individual villains, but so allergic to stopping systems? Why is blowing up a spaceship heroic, but dismantling a deadly corporation controversial? You want relevance? Cardiac is relevance. In a world where people ration insulin, die waiting for approvals, get denied coverage, and are told their suffering is Unfortunate, but unavoidable. Cardiac walks in and says, no, someone decided this. And decisions can be answered. And let's be honest about something else. This character hits even harder if Marvel is brave about casting. A black man whose family is discarded by a profit-driven healthcare system who then becomes the system's reckoning. That's not an accident. That's resonance. That's history. That's a character who doesn't need to preach because his existence is the critique. Marvel keeps asking how to make stories that matter. This is how you don't invent new stakes. You reveal the ones people are already living under. Cardiac doesn't fight to save the world abstractly. He fights so specific people don't die quietly while executives sleep well. He's not flashy. He's not quippy. He's not here for merch first. He's here to ask the question Marvel rarely asks out loud. What if the real villain is the business model? Cardiac is not a side character. He's not a cameo. He's not a Disney Plus experiment. He's a lead. He's a trilogy. He's a conversation starter that makes people uncomfortable because it's true. The hero Marvel needs right now isn't the one who saves the city after the explosion. It's the one who stops the explosion from being profitable in the first place. Follow Marcus Ferrell live if you're tired of pretending the most important stories aren't already written.